In a world of declining marketing budgets, one copywriter will sit and judge.
A trailer's goal is to give an audience enough information to make them want to see the movie, and no information that makes them not want to see the movie. Teasers give you just a little taste, trailers give you the whole shebang. But what if you want to give them something in between? Then you make what we call a trailer 1. Closer to the length of a trailer, but it doesn't give you a lot more information than the teaser would. Typically using that extra time to show us more genre elements. Action, suspense, comedy, etc. They've already released a teaser for this movie, and I'll link to that in the description. As you'll see, this trailer doesn't give a ton more information, so I'm gonna judge this as a trailer 1. The End of Oak Street, Trailer 1 Review. Now, I can't show you the whole trailer, but I do recommend you watch it before the review. So there's a link to the official trailer in the description, and another one will pop up in the top right corner of the screen. Go watch it there first, then come back here. So, how little can a marketing team show and still get an audience excited to see a movie in theaters? Let's watch the trailer and find out. We start where all trailers start, with the opening shot. Here we begin with a dog. You've got my attention. He's tied to a leash, got a bowl of water, his house is right there, a responsible owner. I hope everything works out for it. Oh dear. Alright, so it's a simple opening shot. They're starting off with the dog because they know it's going to appeal to pretty much anyone with a heart. And then we're immediately discovering that the dog is in peril. So after the opening shot, of course, we go into the setup.
Anybody else see that?
We meet our first character. Sports trophies, a bicycle or unicycle hanging on the wall, and Superman sheets.
Anybody else see that weird light last night?
A casual breakfast, eggs and orange juice. Typical all-American family. Ewan MacGregor, part Scottish, part elf. He's been acting for 30 years and is barely aged.
Choose life.
Then we have the back of a woman's head. I assume we'll meet her soon.
What weird light?
The wind was blowing all crazy.
We're cutting back and forth between the events and the discussion about the events. It's a great way to deliver information efficiently. Not particularly complicated. I like the J. Giles Band poster. It's putting us in a time frame, the 1980s. Maybe you heard of them.
The wind was blowing all crazy. Starbuck was freaked out and barking.
Reveal that this is Anne Hathaway. She would apparently be the mom.
Could have been lights from a helicopter.
Or a UFO. Aliens.
Oh no! A little foreshadowing, perhaps?
Shut up, Dad.
It's playful, no conflict, no drama, just the idealistic American suburban life that middle-class people could afford to live in the 1980s. Something tells me it might be aliens. Some big sound design, electrical sounds, animalistic beastie sounds, wind. Right there, you. Some more clues about the family in these shots. She likes space. She's interested in space and science, which is maybe going to play a factor into the movie. Here in the hallway, we see some soccer certificates on the wall, so there's at least one person who's athletic in this family, which is good. Something tells me they're going to be doing some running in the near future. Warner Brothers. Bad Robot, that's JJ Abrams' production company. JJ Abrams produced his own Super 8 movies as a kid, and eventually got hired by Steven Spielberg at the age of 15 to repair 8mm film that Steven Spielberg had made when he was a kid. Abrams went on to make all kinds of great stuff, maybe you heard of him, which culminated in him working with Steven Spielberg on, you guessed it, Super 8. Needless to say, he's heavily influenced by Steven Spielberg, and this movie definitely has strong Spielberg vibes.
Water's not working.
A very subtle piano cue with airy string, a lot of tension, puts you on the edge of your seat. And then we're seeing the most American suburb you can imagine.
Looks like the whole neighborhood's lost power.
They got a battery-operated radio out, and we're getting the first hint of the music cue, which is diegetic, but also extremely stylized. Take a listen.
What the hell was that?
A lot to unpack here. First of all, the song. This song is by Billy Joel. It's called My Life. It was the first track on his album 52nd Street, which came out in 1978. But originally, it did not sound anything like this.
What the hell was that?
It sounded like this. Drastically different, right? So what did they do? They got the stems and they pulled out the vocals. And I believe they found a composer to write music that would fit with the lyrics and create a perfect score for this trailer. Now for some random trivia. This song was also used as the theme song for the show Bosom Buddies, which aired from 1980 to 1982. Featured Peter Scolari and Tom Hanks as two down-on-their-luck guys living in expensive New York City who find an affordable apartment in an all-women's building, which I guess was a thing back then, and hatch a plan to dress like women so they can live there. And you thought the economy was tough today? That's just a little extra trivia for you. Doesn't really have anything to do with this trailer.
The hell was that?
So we heard the monster sound, then they rushed to the window, throw open the sash.
The hell was that?
I went through my dinosaur phase, and that does look to me like the tail of a stegosaurus. So it's not aliens. This is a movie about modern-day humans facing off against dinosaurs. Steven Spielberg famously made a movie about that, Jurassic Park, and it had a lot of sequels. Maybe you heard of them. But for most of those movies, the dinosaurs never get off the island. So JJ Abrams, with the help of the director, who we'll learn about later, is giving us the one thing Steven Spielberg never did: a full movie of dinosaurs in the suburbs.
Not the mama, not the mama.
This is called The Pedigree, showing us the big name people attached to the movie who we aren't going to see on screen. We're also getting a first look at our graphics. So it's a clean font, all caps, very easy to read. We're getting a glow, undulating and moving over time, as well as some texture. And it starts out of focus, then focuses and becomes very crisp. Great graphics. First, a good cut, although it gets kind of spoiled with the pedigree card in between. This shot of the kids at the window with reflections of trees in nature cuts to a card, followed by a shot of the parents in the car with the window reflecting trees and nature. I really like it. And then we end up here at the precipice of a cliff. You can see the layers of sediment and the pipe, so it's clearly been sliced. It's a big shot, showing a lot of scope. But the jungle area looks a little bit like a video game. There's something about the light or the shading. I can't imagine it would be an unfinished effect. This movie finished principal photography, June of 2024. So they've had 2 years to work on these effects. To release a trailer with unfinished effects, at this point,
that ain't legal either.
it's a quick shot. You wouldn't be looking at it anymore if I let this play. So let it play.
We can't leave.
And there we have the problem. Dinosaurs in your neighborhood. You can't escape your neighborhood. What are you gonna do? Tell me that's not a great premise. I'm not sure if they composed all of this music or if this part is from another piece, but this sounds very familiar to me. String part, dun 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 dun. It reminds me of something. If you know what it is, let me know in the comments. But we're also getting another pedigree, the director of It Follows, a low-budget horror movie that punched way above its weight at the box office. Huge success. This is a pairing of a big producer, JJ Abrams, with a up-and-coming director. But the marketing doesn't expect us to know the name of the director. They just expect some of us to recognize the movie It Follows.
I think that our neighborhood, our house, our whole street has moved.
We're getting more information through a series of suspenseful shots. The door behind her has been damaged by a claw. She's holding a rifle, looking terrified, doing the old...
He's right behind me, isn't he?
And it doesn't look to be. There's something in the woods behind the house, and the daughter is over here trying not to be seen herself.
Clever girl.
Then the family gathered together on a cul-de-sac. In America, we consider this the safest area you could possibly live in. But when there's dinosaurs in the neighborhood, maybe the cul-de-sac's not the best place to be. So we have this ominous shot of them waiting for something. We're kind of in a pod of suspense right now. Books have chapters, movies have sequences, and trailers have pods. They're little thematic segments.
Our whole street has moved.
Not only are they giving us important information through the dialogue here, but showing the two characters in a highly intense emotional moment. Very efficient, very effective. This shot was accomplished with a split diopter. A split diopter is usually half of a lens that they put over the existing lens to zoom in one part of the shot. This allows two things at different distances from the camera to both be in focus at the same time. Anne Hathaway is very close, and the daughter is very far away from the camera, and they're both in focus. If Anne Hathaway were to walk across the screen right now, she would go out of focus, and that would be extremely bad. Luckily, she didn't do it. One challenge is that there's always a blurred area where the lenses meet. It's not uncommon to try to hide it by placing it over a vertical element in the set, like a door frame or a window or a post. And you can see it's been used in a lot of great movies, but one movie that famously featured a lot of split diopter shots was Jaws, directed by Steven Spielberg. Now Ewan MacGregor thinks he's going to take on dinosaurs with a baseball bat.
How the hell is that even possible?
In trailers, we don't just stop, we stop down. And I think this one deserves a bonus point. First ever bonus point awarded on the channel. Congrats to you, End of Oak Street. Get out of there, run! That animalistic clicking sound, that reminiscent of the Predator. Get out of there, run! Then we break into the action. I love the wardrobe here. This is so 80s. The short shorts, the socks with the 3 stripes, just the whole look. It's also great to see them in such casual clothes being thrown into this extremely dangerous situation. You're gonna feel more empathy for a character who's unprepared for something that they're about to face. Taking on dinosaurs in shorts. In any apocalyptic event, shorts are a bad idea. It's an important lesson for us all. In the event of an apocalypse, put on pants immediately. Hashtag pants for the apocalypse. Well, we had a Karen there. She heard a gunshot, came walking outside. Get what you deserve! Now, in order for a trailer to be shown to general audiences, you're not allowed to show anyone losing their life. Let's see how they get around that.
I'm not dead!
Her head is fully engulfed, and we're gonna see, let's see, does it, oh, they pulled it off. As long as you cut before we see anything, you can show that to anyone.
Choose life.
It's a raptor-style dinosaur, but it's got feathers, which is using more current science and understanding of how dinosaurs work. This CGI looks much better than the jungle shot did, which suggests they put more resources towards the dinosaurs. Time and money well spent. They lock themselves in the house, and we step into the back end. So we get the song again, a recapitulation of the line, I don't need you to worry for me because I'm all right. Even more ironic now. Anne Hathaway's eyes are as big as any human eyes could be. They're wearing pants now, which is a relief. They've finally accepted they're in the apocalypse. Pants for the apocalypse. The breaking of the window, there's some good sound design here. We get the big hit right when he pulls it off. Rhythmic cutting always helps drive the trailer forward. It gives it momentum and energy. It feels, yeah.
Gather supplies. Grab anything you can use as a weapon.
And that's giving us the plan. Hunker down, gather supplies, get ready to defend yourself. Simply a survival story. So far, there's no conflict between humans at all. Even that Karen, maybe the only conflict they had in the neighborhood, that's been eliminated. So now we're just dealing with humans versus dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's nice.
Good to see the dogs alive still. Giant footsteps. There's gonna be an even bigger dinosaur.
What are we gonna do?
Big epic shot. Car through the wall. Cats. Every animal you show just gives us another reason to empathize with the heroes. There's layers to the sound, building up the music. It's hitting heavy and hard. And then we get to this shot, a glowing orb. They're not shying away from the science fiction aspect of this. They're just not explaining it very much.
We're gonna survive.
Great trailer line, and it's another split diopter shot, giving us high emotional intensity. The final lyric is, go on with your own life, leave me alone. Not really thematically appropriate to what we're seeing. So the theme is,
Choose life.
but with dinosaurs.
Life, finds a way.
There's really not a complex concept we're being shown. We don't even know these characters, but we don't want to see them die. They have a dog and a cat they need to take care of.
Choose life.
Great shot with the dinosaur tail in the background. We're seeing this girl who we haven't been introduced to. We really have barely been introduced to anyone. That's telling me there's more to this story. Drama, conflict, at least another character, but she's in shorts. I'm worried for her. Love the sound design, sound of the dinosaur. We have 3 shots for scope in this. We have the end of the world shot, we have the giant footprints, and standing on the roof. It's not a huge movie. It's got a ton of expensive effects and really cool action, but it's 4 people on a cul-de-sac. I don't care. Big hit with the card for summer. Ends on Oak Street. Pretty good copy. It's giving us more than just the words. This is Oak Street, in case you didn't already know. Ends is final. It's also reinforcing to us that this movie comes out at the end of the summer. So this copy is doing double duty, and it's pretty good.
That's all I have to say about that.
God's not gonna let us die here.
Greg, you only go to church at Christmas and now you're telling the kids God's looking out for us?
What about the people who are out there getting eaten?
In the arms of the angel.
Love this shot. I don't think this is a T-Rex. I looked it up. The hands aren't right. It's a different kind of theropod. But look at this massive beast chasing the kids. Sound design of this last sequence is great. Big hit, horns, dinosaur growl. More tension in the chord and more brrr. He's upgraded from baseball bat to a sledgehammer. Not sure that's going to help, but at least he's wearing pants. Great scream. She raises the gun and you hear is that called cocking? One of those lever action rifles? Or is it chambering the bullet? I'm not sure. Ejecting if you're running around and you haven't already chambered the bullet, you're probably not surviving. But that, it's so epic. The sound of the lever. The dive bomber effect. Dun 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 dun. And then just. The end of Oak Street, there's our title. Okay, then we get the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And then it ends with written and directed by David Robert Mitchell, the director of It Follows. What this is telling me is they are trying to build him up to be a household name. They used 2 cards to tell us about him. The only issue I have with it is It Follows may have been way more successful than they expected for a $1.83 million feature, but I don't know if it's such a popular movie that you can rely on people to recognize it. However, I do think this is part of a long game. They want to make more movies with this guy. They want you to remember his name. So we get the second pedigree. Not a lot of copy, a lot of pedigree. Well, there you have it. It's all over except for the score. 8 categories on a scale of 1 to 5. The rubric is below. Sound design. There's a lot to love about the sound design in this one. Let's listen to the highlights. The sound design did a lot of heavy lifting in this trailer, creating most of the suspense and amping up the emotional moments. They layered sounds to create the mood and scare the pants off us with some gnarly beast noises. For an overall soundscape that borders on brilliant but certainly elevates the trailer. But in some moments, it's a little hard to tell if the sound design or the music is doing most of the work. Nevertheless, it made this trailer what it is, 4.5. The graphics were great. They were inspired by some of the most fascinating shots in the movie, and complemented without blindly mimicking the title treatment. They definitely elevated the trailer overall. However, they were just interstitial cards that never interacted with the picture or sound in an interesting way. But they are great, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 4.25. Editing. Nothing to complain about, but it was largely propped up by the sound design and music. Most of these pods were just sequences that had been cut down from the feature, showed to us in linear fashion. True, the editing was efficient and technically sound, but I can't recall 2 shots cut together that offered more information than the sum of their parts. In fact, the only edit I considered making a remark about was broken up by a pedigree card. That being said, I can't really knock down the editing as long as it works. And this works. It gets a solid 3. The music. This is one of those rare cases where they do something super interesting with music and it just works really well for the trailer. I think it was creative, I think it was interesting, and I believe if I hear this song somewhere else, I'm gonna think about this movie. That's for the Billy Joel song. For the rest of the score, what part was composed, what part was from another song, I just don't know. I think the music suits the trailer and the tone perfectly, and it drives all of the action and builds a great rhythm into the trailer. 4.5. Genre elements. This is being touted as a sci-fi survival thriller. Well, we definitely have the thriller with moments of extreme danger reinforced by excellent sound design. We've got just enough of those survival elements to justify the label. The sci-fi elements raise more questions than they answer, but they're present and accounted for. They definitely include all these elements, and the stuff they include looks good, sounds good, and makes me feel good. 3.5. The pitch. It's a trailer 1, so they're really not trying to give us much about the story. We know it's a family that doesn't hate each other, and we understand the premise and not much more. But I have a lot of unanswered questions. The characters, the plot, the themes, the sci-fi elements. So for this, I'm gonna have to give it a 2.5. At least they didn't spoil anything. The copy. There actually was copy. And it wasn't just copy for the sake of copy, but considering I have a lot of unanswered questions about the character and theme of this movie, some more messaging would have been helpful. So I'll give it a 3 as a participation trophy. The strategy here seems to be a classic game of hide the story. There's lots of reasons why a studio might want to hide the story. It could be that it's too complicated to fit into a trailer. Or it could be too simple. Or perhaps there's a mystery involved that they don't want revealed to the audience. Now I'm here to review a trailer, not predict a movie. Whatever their reasons, they are definitely hiding something. And the plan is pretty simple when that's your goal. Lay out the premise, show us simple but empathetic characters, highlight the competence of the filmmakers, and then you let the movie speak for itself. So how did they do? They did give us empathetic characters. They did show us an easy to understand premise. They gave us thrills and chills and spine-tingling action. But we know what happens when JJ Abrams teams up with an indie director. And all the missing information is more than a little conspicuous. Are they really hiding something, or do they just want us to think they are? That may be giving them too much credit, but there's a ton of buzz online and people will be lining up opening night to find out the truth. We'll know more when the next trailer is released, but whether intentional or not, their strategy seems to be having an impact. That gets them a potentially accidental 4 points. Bonus points, we had one for that epic stop down. Great job. So we'll add up all the category scores, plus that bonus point, and divide by the total number of categories, which is 8. And the grand total is 3.781.
We're gonna survive.
Pretty good for a trailer 1. Looking forward to the main trailer. What do you think? Was the premise enough to keep the audience engaged while we wait for the full trailer? Or did we need more character, plot, and theme to whet our appetites? I think you know my opinion, but if you disagree, come at me in the comments. And while you're down there, give me a thumb, subscribe, and check out some of my other videos. That's it for now. See me next time.
Oh, there it is.